You're missing out on deals because you're too focused on efficiency instead of relationships. You think faster means better, but faster doesn't mean deeper. Every email, every outreach is a chance to make someone feel valued. But if you're rushing it, you lose trust. And trust is your biggest asset in business. In this coaching session, we highlight that targeting the right people, making your messages personal, and giving real value after interviews is how you turn conversations into sales. If you want more yeses, slow down and connect. Make people feel special and watch your business soar. If you've been here before, drop a hashtag Believe in the comments so I can feature you here in a future video. And if you're new, welcome to Believe Nation, the only channel that helps you believe in yourself daily, one video at a time.
So we got Holly in the house. Holly's part of our Movement Makers program. As part of that, we're doing this. And so excited to dive in and see what's on your mind, see how I can help.
I've been in the program for a while, absolutely loving it. And my question for you, I think mindset is crucial. I think I've done a lot of training on that besides mindset, because I think that's pretty foundational. What would you say is actually the biggest hindrance, or what's really getting in the way of people's growth who really want to do business, entrepreneurs online with social media?
Entrepreneurs online with social media. So I think in entrepreneurship, a lot of people pick the wrong business. I think people pick the business that they just think can make a lot of money with, but don't actually care. It's like they're not attached to the mission. They're just attached to trying to make money, which is great. Like, you have to make money. We're not building charities out here. You have to make money. But even charities need to make money, right?
Right.
A lot of people are only chasing the dollars and don't chase the mission. And then they just quit because it gets too hard. So if you want to flip it to content, if you're now making content around something that you don't care about, like you're doing real estate, specializing in divorce, if you don't care about real estate and don't care about helping people through divorce, what do we do? Like, you're going up against people who love it. If somebody is trying to get into that market, they're going up against you who loves it. And so I think too often people are just chasing the wrong thing. They're just chasing the money, which is fine. But I think you need to have a mission on top of it, because otherwise you just quit. It's just too hard. You don't keep going. And so with the content, you're just not going to make content around something that you are not passionate about.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when you were talking. It's got to be something you're passionate about, because people can really feel that. And definitely without that, if you don't have your story and if you don't have something that people can connect to, that's huge. So I found that too. Something else I had a question on. So when you're looking at, sometimes people talk about stay in your lane, be focused, build one thing first, get it really, really going well and strong before you look at anything else. So for someone like me, in the real estate space, so I'm a real estate agent, obviously, do content on that, and also looking to grow my downline with EXP. Okay, so that's another set of content. And then we talked about divorce. That's another set. And I'm also getting down to Florida. So I'm also a broker down in Florida. So it feels like, what is too much, I guess, would you say?
If it's content-wise, I'd be looking at buckets.
Okay.
What are the three main buckets of content that you're going to make around? So for me, I might do a famous entrepreneur story. I love that. I might do productivity. I might do some health stuff. I might do some entrepreneurial tactics, YouTube stuff. Those are all things that are interesting to me. What are the main buckets? The key is staying consistent on those buckets. So if you're going to start a Florida series, okay, cool. The mistake people make is like, oh, I'm just going to do like the week of Florida. And then you do a ton of content about Florida and then never post again. And then the people who came for the Florida content, the people who came for the other content are now bombarded with Florida content that they may not care about. And then the people who came for the Florida content, they like it. Then there's nothing else that continues to happen on the channel. And so we start to lose those people too. So whatever you're interested in could be a series on the channel. Obviously, you don't want to have like 20 buckets and then you're never consistent on anything. But if you think about the main buckets of content that you can speak to, that you're passionate about, that you love, and then making that a regular series across all your channels.
Okay. I love that. I know a lot of people may not have heard you talk about that we get to hear in the Movement Makers when you talk about idea to action. And honestly, that was probably the best advice, one of the best pieces of advice that I've heard, just because I think a lot of us have the tendency to want to make things perfect before we actually put it out there. There's that stress that it's never right. And I'd love for you to talk about that, just because I think that's huge. A little bit more in depth on that.
Now we're back to mindset.
But that's the most important, right?
I listen. You're not. I 100%. I think lack of belief is the number one problem in the world.
Yeah.
I think honestly, like, the idea to action is a solution to a lack of belief. I think the reason why we don't start is we just don't believe in ourselves enough. And perfectionism is, a lot of people wear it as a badge of honor. It's just fear. You're just afraid. I mean, and I'm a recovering perfectionist myself, right? So it's like I'm speaking to myself as I'm speaking to anybody else. I have tried to train myself to just believe that great ideas flow through me. And so the fact that I came up with the idea, as long as I'm in like a positive state, it's a good idea. And so I should do it. And not letting my brain get in the way, so that I came up with the idea, so I'm going to try something. It doesn't mean I have to devote the rest of my life to doing this thing or move to a new country or anything else. It's just I'm going to find a small way to get started. And we tend to do the opposite. Like when we're in a negative spot, we tend to take immediate action. So it's like somebody cut you off on the street. I gotta go honk at that person. I gotta catch up just to see what they look like, right?
Right. We all do that. I got to see this person's face.
You take immediate action often when you're in a negative state, but we don't take immediate action when we're in a positive state. And like flip that. If you're negative, okay, that's when you need a little more restraint. Breathe, take it in a little bit, get a little distance. But when you're in a positive state, then do something. Like I think the best ideas come to you when you're bold. And then our fears talk us down from doing it. And so I try to just shortcut my brain to the fact that I came up with the idea, therefore it's good, therefore I should try to do some small action on that today. And sometimes that's the end. Like, okay, I did that one thing, cool. I scratched the itch, it's over. And sometimes it becomes like the next great thing that I devote the rest of my life to.
Right. So you basically just recommend do it scared.
Yeah, I try to even take out the scared. I try to take out the thinking.
Mm-hmm.
How
do you do that?
Just do it. Like that's the shortcut. It's like the fact that I came up with the idea means I have to go do something on it. Just period. Then there's no thinking about it. And just trust that, like I'm trying to think if I've ever had it backfire on me. Even if it doesn't work out, it doesn't mean it's going to backfire. It's like, you would love to have some dream guest on your show. Okay, cool. Reach out to them. Send them an IG message. Maybe they never see it. Cool. Whatever. Next. Like, you did it.
Right.
Right. So not being so attached to like it having to be the thing and it having to work out. But I came up with the idea. Great ideas flow through me. It's a belief thing. And so I'm going to do some kind of immediate action on it. So I try to shortcut my brain, because if I'm thinking about it, what's it? If you're in your head, you're dead. If you think about it, you're probably not going to do it, because you're a smart person. Like, we're all smart people. You will find really smart reasons why not to do something. You're not going to believe a stupid reason why you're not going to do it, but you'll find a really smart reason why you shouldn't do it. And so I just try to cut my head out of the situation, and I do it because the idea came to me.
So was that your secret weapon? Like, if someone said to you, Evan, what's your secret weapon? You're clearly moved huge levels in this space. If someone said, what's that one silver bullet that you have that you could just give to the rest of us, what would it be?
Oh, okay. Well, now we're going somewhere else. Because if you say, what's my secret weapon and the one silver bullet, I'd say my wife.
Well, we can't have her, so.
Yeah. Well, I do make a joke that everybody needs a Nina. So
Yes.
Nina's the name of my wife, and I think everybody needs. On my homepage, if you scroll down, it'll show like the year-over-year growth of my YouTube channel. And after I married Nina, the YouTube channel took off. Not because Nina's some kind of YouTube savant or expert or anything else. It's just having the support of people really made a difference. Like, having one person is always in your corner. I think having like who you choose to marry or partner with is just huge. It's everything. But yes, no, I can't give Nina. You can't give Nina to everybody. So short of go find your own Nina, I then say the environment. Like, what is Nina a reflection of? Well, it's my environment. And so what are you feeding into your head every day? What YouTube channels you subscribe to? What books do you watch? What are your habits, your routines? If you're constantly around ideas and people, even if it's virtual through a screen, that support you, build you up, encourage you, you're more likely to stay consistent and follow through. And if you're around people who are negative or, hopefully not tearing you down, but just negative people, then it's really hard to build great things. And the challenge for a lot of people is, a lot of people, watching this or on the replay, you're the most positive person in your community. Like, you're the one pouring in other people. You're the most ambitious person that you know. And then you're trying to carry and lift other people up along the journey too, to make it valuable for them, right? But who's doing that for you? Who's telling you, hey, you got this? Who's telling you that you can do so much more? Not in a negative, like passive aggressive way, but in an actual belief encouraging way. And most of us don't have those people in our lives. And so if you don't have those people, cool, like try to find them. And if you do, marry one of them.
Trying, Evan. I'm working on that.
I mean,
Maybe
you
that's
must see
what
it
this
all
is
the
going to
time,
be all
right?
about. Well, that's what this will be all about then. So the advice is, Holly, you need to go find someone to marry. I love it. I love that.
You see it all the time. You're the real estate
It's
professional
true.
who specializes in divorce, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
see it all the time. And
Yeah.
when you have somebody who supports you, who believes in you, like a lot of times we're afraid even to leave bad situations or lead bad relationships or lead situations that are not supporting us, where the people are not encouraging for our dreams. But it's really, really, really hard to go build something amazing when you have somebody who's not supporting you or being
True.
a cheerleader for you. And again, they don't have to, like, Nina is now in the business and she's been a big part of scaling and building our team. We've got 60 something people on the team and she's been a big part of that. But she didn't join the company until like years into us being together. And the channel started taking off just with us being married, just because of the emotional support and kindness and love from her being around. So how do you find that person? Yeah, I'm not the relationship expert, but I would say making sure it's around joint habits, joint values, sure, but do stuff you love. Like Nina and I met salsa dancing, and we love salsa dancing. So how can you be around the people who are doing things that you love? It's just easier to talk to hang out, to enjoy. Like I'm an introvert, so going to a networking event and saying, "Hi, how you doing?" That's not something that I do, but it's a lot easier to build connections when you're doing something that you actually love. So salsa dancing is a lot easier for me to build connection. And then just pay attention to the energy. Are you around, people who lift you up, who make you feel better, who encourage you? I have a saying in our business that I like to collect good people. So some people collect baseball cards and shoes or watches or cards. Jim Quick in the house saying always good stuff. Yeah, like Jim, I always love collecting good people. When I find someone that I really like, I fight to try to find something to do with them, where we may not even have an idea yet, but like I really like that person. I want to be around their energy more. I want to find a way to do something with them. And so when you find those people, like hold on to them. And it may not immediately make sense how you can do it, but if you are around people who lift you up, support you, it may not be the closest people to you right now, but you go to an event and you find one person, or you're in an online event and it's like somebody's really supportive in the chat. Reach out, get to know that person. Stay in touch. You have a client who is awesome. Find a way to stay in touch. Ask them to go for lunch. Like, initiate something to stay in touch with somebody. Because if you're around the people who lift you up, great things can happen.
I couldn't agree more. And I think too, like for someone like myself, I'm a single agent. So I don't have a team. And we're cloud based, right? So a lot of the people I'm connected with are out of state. I love the community that you have. And I love creating those communities. And I think we can do that too, like on YouTube, going live on Facebook or Instagram. You kind of make these little communities. And I like your people collecting. I have a friend who says that, and I love it too. I think I'm also a people collector. I'm an extrovert, so I love people. I got to be around people. What else would you say though, besides content creation? Because I've watched your story, and I love how open you are and honest about how tough it was and some of the first time speaking on stage. But what did you do that really contributed to growing your brand, your business? Obviously, you were consistent, didn't give up. But what did you do besides the content creation that you felt you feel really brought you to the level, like you're getting attention from people like Tony Robbins and these big names out there? Is there anything offline that you feel like kind of went in tandem with the content?
Uh, I'll go one mindset and one tactical, and then you can decide if you want to pull on threads anywhere there. The mindset one was more just a decision to serve. So I am not an extrovert. I'm an introvert, and I don't like being on stage, and I don't like being around people.
I love it.
um, which doesn't come across when I'm doing something like this, but I avoid networking events. I remember there's a giant fundraiser with some huge names on this yacht that was leaving San Diego. And my first thought was like, what if I don't like it? How do I get off the yacht? And so I didn't go because I don't know how to get out. I have no escape plan. And I'm stuck on this yacht for 6 hours with whoever, right? So yeah, I don't. It's not natural for me. I don't like it. When I looked online or on the TV, I guess at the time, you saw Mark Cuban or Kevin O'Leary, people who are very kind of type A, brash, loudmouth, kind of opinionated people. Like I don't connect with those people. But then it's just, well, I still want to serve and I still want to help, and I think my story can be of value to people. And I do like people in small settings. Like I like one-on-ones. I like really small, intimate settings. I don't like big group dinners and parties and stuff, but I like small settings. And so it's just the decision to help and decision to serve that got me out of the I'm not an extrovert and I don't enjoy it, but I still like helping. I really like helping. So that was more the mindset one. The other thing that really helped is figuring out a business model. Like a lot of people just don't ever figure out a business model. And so the first YouTube event that I went to, it was a private event and you had to have at least 500,000 subscribers to go. And I think I had 300,000. So I was like I got snuck in or got an invite or whatever. And I remember talking to the main guy who had almost 10 million subscribers at the time. It's like, oh, what does your team look like? Like, how did you build this up? It's like, oh, we just hired our first VA. It's like, what? You've got almost 10 million subscribers and you just hired your first person? To me, that's crazy. But just people are not approaching it as a business. And it's always been, I had a business, I sold it, I was in venture capital. It's just always a business. I've got 60 people on the team now. It's figuring out the revenue model of how you're going to turn this idea, like service super matters, your values, the mission, the purpose first. We talked about at the very beginning, like, hey, if you're only driven by money, you're not going to make it. But money still is important. Like it's got to be in your top 5. And a lot of people who are service driven are only serving and never figure out how to monetize. And then they're stuck with a part-time hobby. It's an evening thing, a weekend thing, versus if you had a team, you can do a lot more. But to be able to afford a team, you have to learn how to make money. And so with all the people that I've supported over the years, there's also a revenue models behind it so that I can scale team. So I think it's like in service of your mission. If you actually want to have a big impact, you have to make money and you have to build team so people can help you build the thing that you're passionate about.
Okay. So also with service, finding like a mission or a project that would be connected to what you do and reaching out. I know you don't love the big rooms, maybe the big events, but just finding a way to connect with those people as you're going through and doing your people collecting and just finding out how you can attach to it in a way. And, again, just being a servant. I love that. That's huge, actually.
So what I'll do at events, I usually only go to events that I'm speaking at. So, and if, you can also just apply to be a speaker at different events. It doesn't mean you always get invited or paid, but I would speak at an event and then I try to go as early as possible. I like being the opening keynote if possible. If not, then as early as possible on the first day. One, to just get out of the way so I'm not nervous, for the rest of the time. And two, so that people will recognize me. So I'll wear this. And some people already know me now because we built a brand, whatever. But also people, don't. And it's like their first time meeting me. Cool. I'll usually say something on stage about I'm an introvert and I probably won't come and say hi to you, but like I want to serve. So please come say hi to me. And then I'll just spend the rest of the next 2 or 3 days standing in the hallway for the whole day, like 10 hours, just helping people. I turn a networking event into a place for me to thrive where I speak as early as possible. Then I just stand in the hallway and then people come and ask me questions. And then that's how I can help, which is what I'm there to do, as opposed to like speaking at the end. The closing keynote is very prestigious. I don't care about the closing keynote. I want to be at the earliest possible and then just be in the hallway helping people. So creating an environment for you to win. I had to hack that, where a lot of speakers just fly in, do their speech, sit in the green room, and then fly out. They're doing the speech. I barely care about the speech. The speech is just a setup to have the one-on-ones in the hallway afterwards. And so that's what I love the most, and that's where I come alive. So just engineering the business model that supports what I'm trying to do.
Well, that's amazing. I've never been to an event where the keynote speaker of someone like yourself would stay after and talk to people. So that says a lot about your character because most of them they just find the back way out and they're gone. Like I have never seen that.
Yeah, I not to throw other speakers under the bus, is just it's just they love speaking, and I don't get the energy from being on stage. I get it from the one-on-ones afterwards. It also helps ease. So like I spoke at Brendan Burchard's, one of his events. I think it was in Arizona, and I wanted to be there as the door opens. So like all the speakers are backstage and doing their thing. I need to feel a connection to the audience before I can get on stage. I can't just, not that I can't, I struggle with just getting on stage and just talking. I like to have some kind of connection. So I was there with the volunteers, like opening the doors and high-fiving people on the way in. Most of them probably had no idea who I was. They said, great. Yeah, great. I'll be speaking later today, but it doesn't matter. Hey, welcome. How you doing? I need it for me. Whether it was a good strategy or not, like if I can't feel a connection to the person or the group that I'm talking to, then I won't be as good. I'll be way more nervous, way more anxious. So I need it for me. In our mastermind groups, right? So we run a mastermind every quarter. We get together, usually in Toronto, sometimes in Arizona. And it's day one and day two. And I'm always super, even though like they're friends and they've become family, people come back for like multiple years, I still get nervous before doing the event. So we do a day zero. So it's a 2-day event, but then day zero is our filming day. And people will come in early, then we'll go for dinner. And it's just my way of connecting with people. And so people will say, wow, it's great how you invested in us. And like nobody else does this. But it's more that I have this insecurity and weakness that I need to feel more comfortable before going to the actual event. So it ends up helping everybody. But again, other speakers do a great job, and their craft is like the speaking, and they love just flying in and flying out, and they can go hit more speaking gigs. Like I like staying for the 3 days, and those other speakers are off speaking at another event. And so they're impacting more lives as well. So the key is just do you. There's no one way to do it. And I think I had to find a weird way to do it compared to most of the people in my industry. Even you, like, hey, real estate, there's lots of people doing real estate, specialize in divorce is a weird way of doing things. And so we have to find the weird way of doing our thing that is actually our thing and not just some opportunity that we think would make money. And when you do that, that's when everything starts to work out.
It's okay to do it the weird way. I think that's a better way to do it. I love it. Well, people remember you too, and I like. It sounds like you're a little bit unscripted with your speaking, like you are kind of feeling out the crowd, getting to know people. Do you feel like when you get up there, you obviously have it down what you're going to talk about, but you're able to really discern the crowd? And I don't know, do you take questions? Do you feel like there's a space where sometimes you pivot?
My favorite way to get on stage is to do Q&A. Was my favorite. I'd rather have the host interview me, and because the host knows their audience, like hopefully the host knows who they have in the room. So I don't need to get on stage and just repeat the same things that I say all the time. I'd much rather be of value to the people who are in the room. And so ideally it's a fireside chat, and then we go to Q&A with the audience as quickly as possible. That's like my absolute favorite, because I'm here to help you, and whatever's most on your mind, cool. That's what I want to answer. I've got a whole day of doing podcasts today, and a question I often get is, what's the question that like I should have asked you that you want to talk about that I didn't ask you? It's like, I don't know. I don't want to talk about anything. I want to talk about the thing that you want to talk about. That I want to be helpful to your audience. Like, ask that question. A lot of speakers will go up and deliver their 30-minute keynote, and it's the same keynote every single time. And cool. That's awesome. And that really works. And they can fly to all these cities and do it. Great. It's just not, if I can't feel a connection to the person or what I'm trying to talk about, then it just is not fun for me. So the speech is a lot more free flowing. Again, ideally it's Q&A. I used to do this all wrong, the way that everybody else did it. I used to memorize a speech or have PowerPoints and just go through my slides because I was afraid that if I forgot something, I would stumble and then not bring value. Like, disappointing people is my biggest fear. Don't want to, I got paid to come here and speak, and now it disappointed the crowd. And the first time I abandoned that was I did a keynote in Paris for a software company. And the night before, I decided I'm not going to do any of my slides. I'm just going to do one slide and speak for an hour around that. It went great. That's another like idea to action. Like I could have completely bombed, but like I had this idea, so I'm going to try to do it. So I had to find my way. I think all of us do. We have to find our way. There are paths that have been carved. So I didn't invent the speaking path. There's paths that have been carved. You can't just follow the exact path. You have to find a slightly different groove that you can make. And it's a great strategy, but hopefully you're building around something that you actually deeply care and love. So that's actually a lot more purposeful as well.
Okay. And I know your time is so valuable today. I'm so appreciative that you were able to take it. I would love to know though, just on a more personal note, maybe, for people who are really working hard and grinding and hustling and doing the thing and, every day. Tell us about a moment when you maybe woke up and felt like I arrived, like where I set out to be. And obviously I know you're going to continue to keep moving, but what did that feel like? And what was like that mentality that everything you had been working so hard, because I look at it like you're working so hard for things sometimes, and then when you get there it's like, well, what is that like, and then you've got to reinvent and go further. So did you have that moment where you're like, I'm here, I did it, this is what I wanted?
I think as achievers, we don't celebrate enough.
True.
Right?
True.
So
Yeah.
like it's always what's next. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
we should go do what's next. So in my first business, I was making $300 a month. We, had no money, and anytime we landed a big deal, and a big deal for us was not a lot of money, but we got a client. Basically, we would go to McDonald's and split a large French fries from McDonald's, and that was our like celebration. So even today, it's the most unhealthy food maybe in the world. I don't know. McDonald's fries are just so rough. But even just the smell of a McDonald's French fry to me feels still like victory because of all the moments that I had, these little sales we got. We go split a large fries. And so when I got my first book, it's called Your One Word, and we did a deal with Penguin Random House and got the advance and all that fun stuff to get the book out. To celebrate, I went to McDonald's and hadn't been there in a long time, and got the whole meal, like the Big Mac combo with a McFlurry and the large fries and all that. And I probably felt super sick the next day. I don't remember. But that felt like, hey, I can now afford, the whole meal. I already made money, I guess, at that point. So it was just more symbolic. But yeah, I think in general, I don't think we celebrate enough. People are asking, what are you going to do when you hit 4 million subscribers on YouTube? I don't know. Just keep going. Like it's just another number. Like it's more about celebrating the work every day as opposed to a milestone. So I don't know, some thoughts. I don't know if that's helpful.
It's helpful. It's very helpful. Is there a big project you want to talk to us about that you're working on right now? The next
The
big thing?
channel. Yeah, I mean, the channel, Movement Makers, the mastermind, my Brandlytics software, keeping me super busy. Team, just develop. A lot of the stuff that we're doing is internal, like building team, building leaders inside the team. I can't lead 65 people on my own. And so how do you go from 65 to 650? Team. Like you need leaders inside the team. So a lot of the work that I'm doing is behind the scenes. But publicly, the YouTube channel, obviously still building and growing. Movement Makers, bringing on new people every day. Mastermind is my baby and my family of entrepreneurs. And then Brandlytics is my YouTube software that we're building up to help people get more views on YouTube videos.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you today speaking and just being a leader, because I've been part of different programs and I haven't had anyone take an interest like you do with your group and be there in the way that you show up. So it does create that community that we talked about too. And for some people, they may not be blessed with friends and family that support them. And so I think these communities are so important. So I'm really appreciative for what you've created and how much of your heart you put into it. So thank you.
And congratulations, you're one video closer to who you're meant to become. To watch and coach another entrepreneur, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there. Your business outreach is failing because you're treating relationships like chores instead of treasures. Sending tons of generic emails to important decision makers makes people feel like numbers, not humans. And that approach costs you way more than missed guests.